What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
What?
What country you from?
What?
What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
In that 10-second clip from Pulp Fiction, 5 different cuts happened. A typical 120-minute film averages around 1,250 different shots throughout. Some might even reach as high as 3,000 shots. However, 1917, directed by Sam Mendes, only consists of 34 shots. It won multiple Oscars for Best Achievement in Cinematography, Visual Effects, and Sound Mixing. So what's set 1917 apart in these categories from other nominated films like Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, and Todd Phillips' Joker?
First of all, I think it should have won every award. If
that was my year. They definitely shouldn't have won my award.
No, that was your year?
Yeah, that was my year.
Now, take a look at this shot in 1917. The cut happens here. For a second, the shot became fully CGI to transition into the next shot. This is called a hidden cut. Throughout the entirety of 1917, they used hidden cuts to create seamless transitions. This is what 1917 is all about. To an average viewer, you may notice a couple of them that are basic wipes like this one.
Blake.
But the ones that you can spot almost exist just to remind you that you are watching a movie. This is because the goal of the film is to be fully immersive. Listen to Sam Mendes in this interview.
From the very beginning, I felt this movie should be told in real time. Every step of the journey, breathing every breath with these men, felt integral. And there is no better way to tell this story than with one continuous shot.
But no, 1917 did not invent the hidden cut. In fact, it has been done many times throughout film history. One of the original one-shot style films, Rope, by cinema legend Alfred Hitchcock, experimented with this technique. Adapted from a stage play, Rope is Hitchcock's first color film and takes place in real time. It mostly resembles one take with a couple of hard cuts, like here. Rope encountered technical difficulties due to when it was made, 1948. 35mm film cameras were big and loud, making it much more difficult to move around and match up shots. Digital cameras didn't exist, and the film cameras were only able to shoot up to 10 minutes long. So what Hitchcock did was shoot around 10-minute shots, utilizing hidden cuts to stitch it together. 1917 utilizes a much more refined version of this to create its immersion. But there are more issues that the long take style presents. In this scene, you would expect a cut to an insert of the photo. Obviously, this isn't possible, and spinning the cameras all the way around would be sickening, especially if they did that the whole movie, every time an insert or reaction shot is expected. What Mendes does is waits for the camera to have a chance to move around, in which Schofield looks at the photo once more. 1917 masterfully maneuvers moments like this throughout the film as a replacement for editing. Here's another example. At the beginning of the film, a general is giving our main characters their mission. At this point, you would expect a reaction shot, and so to achieve this, they have Schofield and Blake walk around the table so that the camera doesn't have to move around the room. Oftentimes in this film, the set is designed to allow the camera to get into different compositions without moving. In this shot here, the camera is following them frontally while walking through a trench. To be able to show the character they are about to meet, a corner is added to the set. 1917 is far from the first film to use these techniques, but it takes on the unique difficulty of using them for an entire film. A main criticism I've seen is about the narrative of the film being quite simple, while feeling like a video game. And to be fair, it is a point A to point B story. Both Lance Corporal, Schofield, and Blake are played by relatively unknown actors. Along their journey, they often meet much more famous actors, such as Benedict Cumberbatch, Andrew Scott, and Mark Strong, to help further along the story. I can see how this seems like a video game, but for me this actually makes a lot of sense. These two guys could be any of a couple million soldiers. We aren't meant to know them, and it speaks to how many untold stories of soldiers like this exist. Plus, there are many great point A to point B movies, like Hidden Fortress, Book of Eli, Mad Max Fury Road, to name a few. So, even if Tarantino doesn't agree,
I'm not that impressed about these long cuts where they're doing invisible cuts.
1917 separated itself in cinematography and visual effects through its masterful blocking, hidden cuts, and set design, creating a totally immersive experience for the viewer.